coaches, got a good one for you today. I'm probably going to do this in 2 parts just because I keep going too long and I got ADD and I can't stand watching a long video. So, 10 keys to being a lead assistant coach. It's a topic I'm really excited about. Number 1, growth mindset. You know, you got to compare this idea of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Meaning, you can't be the same guy you were 3 years ago. You've got to constantly be improving. And just growth mindset as far as being elite is, are you reading books? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you watching YouTube videos? Are you growing? Are you going to clinics and actually going to clinics and learning a little something instead of just going to clinics and having fun? So the first key to being an elite coach, and when I'm saying elite coach, I'm talking about who are the guys that are going to be the coordinators, who are the guys that are going to be the head coaches, who are the guys that are going to go coach college ball and go coach in the NFL. Who are those guys? That's what we're talking about when we're talking about elite assistant coaches. All right, number 2, and this is a big one. This might smack you a little bit. Remember, the coaches set the standard. You want to have a bunch of guys that come in late and are not prepared. Just you as a coach come in late and don't be prepared. So the coach sets the standard, but I got this thing called the player standard. And all that means is this: anything that when a player does it, it makes you crazy. Well, don't do that, because you're probably making your head coach crazy or your coordinators crazy. All right, you got to meet the player standard. Be early, be prepared, be there, be all in, be loyal, be all those things that you expect a player to do. You have to do those things if you're an assistant coach. I guess the easiest way to say it is, remember, you got to hit their level, and you got to remember they're never gonna go higher than you. Meaning, they're never going to be more disciplined than you. They're never going to be more prepared than you. They're going to meet your standard. You make sure you're meeting theirs. All right, the third one, be the one. This is an idea I got from Urban Myers, and I just fell in love with it. And I'm going to do it 2 ways. One, first think about it when we're talking about your players. All right, who's the one on your team? The one that everyone believes in, the one that everyone counts on, the one that when the game's on the line, you want the ball in his hand, or you want the ball running towards him. Who's the one on your team? The one, what makes up the one? Well, he's got to be first and foremost, he's got to be a tough SOB. You can't be the one if you're sensitive and soft. Those 2 things don't go together. All right, number 2, he's got to be an elite competitor. Look, you can't be the guys that just beat all the teams you're supposed to beat or beat up on the weaklings that come in on homecoming night. You got to be the guy who rises to the occasion, that in the biggest games he plays the best. At the moment of truth, he's at his best. So elite competitors, where they want to compete and win at everything. They got to be all in. You know, your best player, he can't miss summer workouts. He can't go to and say, Coach, I'm going to be gone in July. We're going to the beach. See, that don't work. Those 2 don't connect. All right? He's got to be all in. He's got to be there. He's got to be on time. He's got to be committed. Number 4, he's got to be the hardest worker. Look, your best player, if your best player is your hardest worker, and your best player is your best leader, then you got a chance to have a fantastic season. But I pity the team that their best player thinks he's special. Their best player is not their hardest worker. Their best player is not their best leader or even an anti-leader. That team is going to crash and burn. So your best player has to be your hardest worker, because number 1, that makes him keep getting better. And number 2, that makes everyone believe in him. When you're out there busting tail in practice and busting tail in the weight room, that makes everyone else around that guy believe in that guy. I want, when the one says, hey, we're about to win this game, I want everyone on the team to believe him. And they will if he's the hardest worker. And then number 5, he's got to be the go-to guy. Just meaning at the moment of truth, he's got to pull the trigger. He's got to be the one when you throw the fade in the end zone on 4th and game. He finds a way to climb the ladder and go get it, when 2 different guys are covering him. He's got to be the playmaker. So those are the things that make the one as a player. But Urban says that's not enough. You got to have the one as an assistant coach. Who's the one on the staff? Who's the guy? Who's the guy who's the tough SOB? The guy who's an elite competitor? The guy who's all in at everything, even when they don't have to be there, he's there. Who's the hardest worker, most prepared, watches the most film, comes up with a game plan? And who is your go-to guy? When there's a problem, you send this guy, he takes care of business. There's got to be the one, because that guy, he's the one that takes over the program when the head coach retires. He's the one that gets, when a good job in the conference comes open, he's the one that gets it. He's that guy because he's the one. Now what Urban says is this: in both those situations, whether you're talking about the player or you're talking about the assistant coach, what really needs to happen is you got to have 4, 5, 6 people competing to be the one. On our team that's talking about players, we probably have 4 or 5 guys competing to be the one. They're capable of stepping in and they're trying to be the one. You got a chance. Same thing. What if you had a staff and you had 3 or 4 of your assistants were all battling and competing to be the one? Now you're talking about you got a chance to have a special year, because if you got that kind of staff, you're going to have that kind of team. So be the one. If you want to be elite, you got to be the one. Number 4, and this is, hey, you got to figure this out when you come in. Are you coming into a system or are you coming into a non-system team? You know, in the system, you know, I'm air raid, so we have a system, we have a way we practice, we have a way we talk, we got a way we got our drills that we run, we got a way we practice, we got all that. All right, but we're not the only system. There's wing T, you know, they're gonna drop the hose and put the cones out. There's different kinds of systems. So the key is this: if you're coming into a system team, learn the system. You gotta learn, you gotta master the system before you can improve it, change it, adapt. You gotta learn it first. If you're coming into a non-system team, then create your system. Now that's the time you got a little more creativity. But both of them, you're gonna learn and get a lot better by being in either one of these programs, but figure out which one. Because if you come in to a system team and you're trying to do your own thing, you're not gonna succeed. And the same thing, if you come into a non-system team and you're expecting them to have a system, you're going to be frustrated. So you got to identify which one. 5th one and the last one for today is just, I texted the 3 best coaches I know. Philip Richards, Shane Dular, John Poolnight. I said, give me your top 3 tips for assistant coaches. Number 1 on every one of their lists was loyalty. Loyalty. Now, we're grown men, so we understand what being loyal is and what being disloyal is. But you know, things get shaky. When losses start happening, people start thinking, they start losing their minds a little bit. We've all seen guys who think they're loyal do unloyal things, disloyal things. So, loyalty. What does it mean? How do you show you're loyal? Number 1, alignment. Meaning you have to align. There's a mission, there's a philosophy, there's X's and O's, there's terminology, there's drills. You have to align. There's a way you practice. Is your program, do they put on pads every day and bang? Or do they never wear pants and only wear uppers? Or do they wear, like the NFL guys, do they wear helmets and go full speed? So you have to align the way they practice. You have to align with all those things. Don't be the guy who's in a program, but he's trying to do his own thing. You have to align. Alignment equals loyalty. Number 2, don't get quoted. Hey, we're in today's world, all right? There's going to be people coming up to you that are going to ask you questions, and all they're going to want you to do is they're going to want you to answer so they can run around and tell everyone what your answer is. And they're going to use it in their argument, whether it was loyal or disloyal, what you said, they're going to try to shape it into what they want it to be by quoting you. Don't get quoted. There's a great story, Woody Hayes, he said his assistant coaches at the barbershop getting a haircut, and someone asked him, why did coach go for it on 4th and 1 last Saturday? The assistant coach says, I don't know. Woody Hayes says, that's disloyal, that guy should be fired. So there's different levels of loyalty. How high is your level of loyalty? Don't you want to be at the elite level of loyalty? That's what elite coaches are, is they're elitely loyal. All right, and then last one. this is hey, the fight standard. All right, here's a good standard to go by. If whatever you do to the head coach, if your best friend did that to you, if it would make you want to fight him, then don't do that to your head coach. It's disloyal. All right, that's a good way of it. If someone did it to you, if it made you mad enough to fight, then obviously that was disloyal. All right, that's the standard. Loyalty. Grown men, hey, when you don't have anything else, you have loyalty. You know, when you're teaching kids how to be men, you got to teach them to be loyal. Loyal to your wife, loyal to your kids, loyal to your team, loyal to your staff, loyal to your head coach. Loyalty. All right, there's nothing higher. It's like I said, 3 best coaches I know, it was first on their list. Loyalty out of an assistant coach. So those are the first 5. We're going to come back tomorrow and give you the second 5. I just didn't want this thing to get too long. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so, and leave a comment. Hey, if I leave one out, put it in the comments. I got some homework when I get through this other 5. I got some homework for you. But if you're thinking of one, put it in the comment. Let's get a conversation started, because this list is probably the most important thing there is, especially for young guys coming into the business. Thank you, coaches.